the overarching vision for our platform is a student government that is strong, that is centralized, and that is an advocate for all students at the University of Chicago, graduate and undergraduate.
I'd say that a lot of our main points are structural within the context of just general university functionings, but also within student government. I think one of the main things that we are looking at is just a general restructuring of like SG's capacity to really be an organized body that is able to affect change. And then that change is on, I think, generally a broader level. I think that that causes like more lasting change. I think that day-to-day issues, while important, can fluctuate from like administration to administration of SG, and by really aiming to hit on larger institutional like goals, I think that we are able of affecting longer lasting change and more powerful change.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent I also reject the premise that those are at all at odds. I think in changing the way that student government functions at kind of a base level, I think starting in a lot of ways with the College Council will enable us to have a much bigger impact on the way that student life is at the University of Chicago on issues like down and dining or academics in the college, which are two areas where there's very little active student leadership. There's a lot of complaints in a lot of different ways, but there's no active leadership in a very kind of base level student life issues.
And also relating back to like an earlier question, I think when necessary, the student government also has a responsibility to voice or like shed light on issues that don't get covered as much by the administration. Bring those issues to the spotlight because a lot of groups are simply unable to do that simply because they don't have the same kind of voice that student government does, and they should be playing that mediator role. Like to what extent can you actually separate student life issues from the bigger issues that inform the community? Literally your experiences, your socioeconomic status, basically everything that Kenzo talked about informs your experiences. It pretty much determines your experiences. So if you are impeded in like certain ways from having the same kind of experience, whatever the norm might be, as everybody else, then that is going to detrimentally affect how you feel on this campus. And if that's something that the SG should be paying attention, and we think it is, then that is something that we should be doing, whether or not the rep is going to be bigger issues or student life issues.
And this year we started working with a group called, we co-founded actually, a group called the Coalition of Chicago Colleges and Universities. And so in a lot of ways, this proposal is taking a page out of a lot of other organizations' book. Actually, I think most student governments across the country are structured in this way. They have formalized issue area topics that representatives get involved in. And the benefit there, again, being that you have formalized systems of accountability and concrete goals, but you also introduce a structure that incentivizes institutional memory and continuity and goals. You don't have this whole, because I mean the sort of pathway is that you have representatives serving on a committee, they develop relationships with administrators and other students who care about that issue, whether that's dining or academics or whatever. Eventually maybe they'll become chair of that committee, and lead that group, and it doesn't just die off after every year, which is kind of what we see projects and initiatives do now, because we're in this just vacuum of structure. Tying back to like why we're running in the first place, is that we think student government should be a place where any student can come and substantially impact the way that the university is run. And I think part of that necessarily means reaching outside of your social circle when recruiting folks for key leadership positions and making those available to all of the 15,000 students who go here.